hours this week. As usual protocol, we'll go over a topic that I am seeing out in the world, and then we'll have the rest of the episode be Q&A. Again, the Q&A questions go off to the side. I want to try to protect your anonymity. And that way, you're not going to hop into the episode and you can ask your questions and I can field those after the episode's over. So, without further ado, here we go. The office hours. I'm going to cover a topic this week that James Weiss, who is in the podcast, it's going to be released tomorrow. He and I covered an array of topics. And one of the ones that we spend a little bit of time on is the idea of utilizing AI as content creator, as a means of building quality content so that way it resonates and posts better online. And there's a few strategies that he talked about that I want to go over today as well, because lots of people are just using AI, like just create the content for me, like a slot machine. You prompt it, it gives you this content, you copy it, and then you publish it and hope that it does something. That's not at all what it's for. This actually creates content that's way too generic. And people are noticing and they're turned off. It turns into spam, turns into white noise. There's nothing that differentiates it from any other piece of content out there. And Google, Yahoo, online sites are not giving it any credit. They're moving it down the list of credibility because there's no human interaction, which is the key to this whole. You're not just creating content just to create it. You're trying to create content to um, get some human interaction, and that's what the websites, and that's what the social media platforms, and that's what these places really are looking for, and that's what creates the quality. And so we're not doing that. I want to go over that today because that's what James and his company do, and it's a great conversation we had. Now, search engines are starting to evolve. They're recognizing this. They're not just like indexing words anymore. They're not just looking for SEO. They're looking and they're tracking human interactions. How long are you sitting on a page? Are you clicking on things? Are you doing something with the content? Is it creating value? Is it being useful? Right? What's the intent of the content? Are you in an area of expertise? What are the human signals that are resonating? And these are all the different things that are being picked up when websites and social media are tracking the content you're creating. And we have to be more aware. All right. So solution one, as you know, we go through 3 solutions and some examples. So solution one is that you want to use AI to, map your intent first and foremost. Before writing anything at all in AI, start asking some kind of like some critical thinking questions. Like ask it data related questions to help you create better content. Like what questions about whatever topic you're on, what questions about this topic are people asking? And then the AI will go through the internet and it'll pull up like Reddit and it'll pull up Google and it'll pull up websites and it'll give you a list of great questions or list of topics that people are asking the most about. And it helps you get a topic that you should be focusing on, that you should be talking about, and giving it a human feel. So we're using AI as a way of gathering and collecting data. Another question you ask it, what are things that are helping making people want to stay on pages or inside of content? And you can get a list of ideas from that. So that way it starts tracking the data and the information and trends that people are staying on websites and so forth. And you can start using those strategies with your content as well. You can even ask the AI what kind of follow-up questions do people traditionally have with XYZ topic. So that way you're creating the content and then you're actually creating maybe even a sequel, or maybe you're addressing some of those additional questions they might have. So that way people stay on the page longer, right? You're answering the question, but then you're also answering kind of follow-up questions they would have. So that way they stick around and that way you get more engagement. So we're basically using the AI to pull data, to pull the information from the website, not to create the content, but to help inspire us with the topics, the questions, the kinds of content that people are traditionally interacting with, right? So the examples we gave here on our handout today. How do I get referrals without asking awkwardly? That's the kind of question that people are asking in regards to referral based business. I'm going to use referral based business as my example today because that's what I do. And so I put in the AI, what kind of questions are people asking about referral based business? And the three questions that came up is, how do I get referrals without asking awkwardly? Why don't my past clients refer me anymore? And how long does it take to build a referral based business? Now, these are great topics that I can create content on myself. I can do a quick video clip. I can make a carousel. I can make several video clips and hop back and forth to keep them on and engaged longer. I can create a poll. I can do a lot of various things, but these are the types of questions that people are asking about online because I know because AI pulled up all the examples. It went through websites, it went through workshops, it went through Reddit, it went through Google, and these are the questions that are trending right now, and these are the questions that people are asking. So when I answer them through my content, I'm going to get a more resonation. I'm going to resonate more with people. I'm going to get more engagement. I'm going to feel more authentic. I'm not letting the AI make the content for me in this particular case. I'm using the AI to help me come up with what I should be saying and why I should be saying it. Okay? So there you go. That's the solution one. And again, we're talking about um, creating AI content that actually resonates and works because the logarithms, the um, online world, they're starting to recognize when we're just copy and paste some content. We don't want to do that anymore. We want it to actually work for us. Solution two, and this is one I've been doing for a while now too. Train your AI on your voice, on your point of view, your perspective. Most of the people that I interview in the marketing space through the podcast talk about the 80/20. If you're having AI create some content for you, which is fine, it helps you save time. Make sure that it only does 80%, that the last 20% is you. Go back through the content, pull out all the hyphens, because that's a surefire sign that it's AI. Go through and pull out all the cheesy phrases, all the transitions that it adds. Transition words are usually very cheesy. It says things like, oh, let's be honest, or here's the catch, or what isn't resonating with your business. Like it has certain phrases, you can feel it. Swap those out, put it in your own voice. But there's things you can do to feed the AI to make sure that it sounds more like you. Things I've been doing is I put in a bunch of my old blogs. So I write the blogs myself. When I'm in a hurry, I'll have it help me out a little bit. But I wrote a lot of blogs and a lot of content. And I copy and pasted and put that in the AI and said, this is examples of my work, of my pacing, of the words I use, of my phrases, of my style, of my humor. And I want you to write as best you can in my style. And I continue to feed it. When I write something else up or I grab an email or I do something where I really like what it is, I'll throw it in there, keep feeding it. Hey, here's more examples of my style of writing. Or if I have the AI and it creates something and I fix it all up, I'll always go back, grab it, and put it back in and said, hey, look, I took your writing and I made some adjustments to sound more like me. Can you remember this? Or can you write in this style more next time? Things like that. And I'll do that pretty frequently. You can also use podcast transcripts. So I grabbed a few of the old transcripts and I'll throw it in there and say, listen, this is the sound of one of the podcasts I recently did. Can we write more in this style? Or we sound more like me? Ask the kinds of questions I ask, things like that. I'll write up my YouTube descriptions and I'll throw it in there and say, hey, this is an example of the YouTube description that I wanted to sound like, and this is how I want you to sound when I ask you these questions. You can even do things like once you've made your website, I threw my website in there and say, hey, listen, this is the website and this is all the content and the course that I created. I want to sound like me. I want this content to be on, to resonate. Here's all the Live Local marketing course content, fed it in there. Here's all the different courses and the classes, and here's the videos I made, and here's all the stuff that went with it. And I fed it all in there and I said, hey, when I ask you questions about Live Local marketing, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I want you to sound like. Here's the information for you. And I did a lot of that as well. You can grab the facts section off your website. I also fed my website and said, here's the facts section. And I gave it, here's the office hours section. And I gave it specific sections to go through because I've already created it and I've already given my own personal style. And I told it, hey, here's some examples of what I want you to sound like and do, right? You can even have conversations. A lot of times now, these days, I've been in the car and I've got 10, 15, 20 minutes where I'm going from place to place. I'll have a conversation like, hey, I use ChatGPT a lot. So, hey, ChatGPT, let's have a conversation about marketing. And I ask it a bunch of questions and give it insights. And I tell it to remember this conversation. Like, hey, we're talking about why my warm marketing isn't working. I'm talking to you about how that last post didn't really resonate. And let's talk about why. And I wanted to remember those conversations because I want to remember the kinds of questions I'm asking it, the kinds of content I'm feeding it. And I'm always just asking it to remember and feeding it more and more of my own stuff. Because you want the AI to write like you, not like what it finds on the internet, right? Now, here's some creative examples of, in addition to the ones I just went over, have AI write a couple of sentences for you. So give it a sentence and then say, hey, listen, I want you to rewrite this, but I want it to be safe, generic. I want it to be vanilla, just so you can hear and see what it says. And then the second one is what I always do very frequently. I'll say, I want you to rewrite this sentence and make it opinionated and professionally humorous. And then it kicks me out something. And then I give it feedback. Hey, I liked what you said here, didn't like what you said there. You know, constantly feeding it information. But give it a couple of sentences, give it a couple of paragraphs. Let it kind of learn your way. Take your time, be patient, always be feeding it more information and having conversations with it. That will make it sound more like you and less like a robot. Good. Now, these strategies work because we're making it more authentic. We are taking out the personality, the vanilla, the generic, the 80% of what it creates for us. We're making more in depth and insight, and we're giving it our expertise. Everybody has different expertise. What are you great at? Is your area of knowledge? Feed it that, right? Give it the clarity it needs. Ask it questions, critical questions, right? If you're having problems, feed the problems into the AI too. It'll help you with the prompts. The algorithms and websites and places are starting to start tracking based on the human usefulness and the connection that you're making with your audience. The people need to be able to consume your content as if it's a person, because it is a person and not just a robot, because they'll turn off. They'll say, all right, AI made this, and they'll shut it off. We don't resonate with that at all yet. If it's made by a real person, there's a real human connection. That's what you want your content and your websites and your posts and all of your content. It needs to do that. It needs to have that personal touch to it. If you're going to get it to land, if you're going to get people to interact with it, if you're going to get it to resonate and actually make a difference, right? AI is just there to kind of help you drive a little faster. Especially if you're in a rush. Many times I'm in a rush. I have it do a lot of the blogs for me. I'll have it do emails quite a bit for me. I'll have it do things like that, but then I change it. And then when I change it and make it more personal, I'll feed it back into the AI and use it. All right. We have to be sure we're being very careful and not just copy, paste, go, because it will not resonate online with the systems and the algorithms. So the search engines just want what the people want. That's what the algorithms are. It's the people. And if they sit on your page for a little bit, that's what they'll get. They'll get more warm marketing content. They'll get more football videos. They'll get more whatever it is. So be sure you continually feed your AI prompts. Be sure you feed it your SEO pages and all the different things that you're trying to do. Be sure you feed it your blog strategies and things you're writing and working on. Be sure you feed it your email sequences and all the content you have. And be sure you're feeding it all the adjustments and things you make, the changes you make, because you want to more personalize it, right? You want to make it your own, or else it's never going to work. It's never going to resonate. It needs to be an assistant, not just a content creator for you. So I hope some of these examples helped you today. I hope some of these strategies will help you today, because we have to make our AI content more human if we're going to get humans to consume it. There you go. 10 minutes. Nice. Doing well. So we're going to get now into the Q&A portion of this. Again, throw your questions into the chat right there. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this information helpful. Each week, I'll pick a different topic I see happening out in the world of marketing and go over it with you to help you become a better, warm marketer. Now, you noticed in this episode, we cut off the Q&A portion of it because that's for members only. To become a member, go to livelocalwarmmarketing.com. You can sign up for that first month using the code ALWAYSWINNING for $2. And then every Tuesday, you can bring your own personal marketing questions we can answer and work on together. You'll also get access to the resource library. It has plenty of videos that is about more marketing tips, strategies, things to help you become a better marketer as well. We have monthly workshops. And of course, we have the weekly content calendar that's uploaded every Monday that takes one more thing off your plate because it gives you a theme and goes over the types of content you could be posting throughout the week. All of that for $2 in the first month. LiveLocal, warmmarketing.com. Become a member today.